So hi everybody, this is Shulamit Lazarus. You can find out about my work on shulamitlazarus.com. Personal transformation coach, EFT specialist, matrix reimprinting, shadow work, parts work, homeopath, energetic healer. I don't even know what to say. Okay, so you can learn about my work by going onto my website. It's a very, very old-fashioned website, so please forgive. And it's being updated. So today I was thinking about what I want to share with you, because my goal now is to share what I do and teach it to as many people as possible. So if you find value in these videos, please share them. Please share them. I want to leave this planet really well used. So if you share them, you will help me with that goal. And that means so much to me. You have no idea. Okay, so I want to deal with EFT. Today I'm putting on my EFT master hat. And one of the things that keeps coming up for people is that they have a conflict, right? And so what do? You're tapping, even though I have this blank. And for anybody who doesn't know tapping, I did a basic, very in-depth EFT teaching in another video, but I'll go over it just really simply for people that haven't done it and just want to finish hearing and just getting some value out of this. But I would strongly suggest that you go back to look at my other videos. I've done one on basic EFT, and that's in depth, teaching you from scratch. And then I've gone on to dealing with anger that has to do with the virus and COVID. And so no, part of the anger also that people are having is that there have been fallacies that have really governed their lives, governed our lives. And now the facts are coming out from the government about what's really going on, and what the dangers really are and the fatalities really are. And so it's fascinating to hear that things are not as dire as we were told. However, it's also angering. So you can go back to the video on dealing with anger that I did, that you can insert, whatever you're feeling around this whole situation. Okay. And then I also had one dealing with heartbreak, which is something that everyone has experienced at one point in their lives. So today what I want to deal with is conflict. So sometimes what happens is that you have a dead conflict inside you. Part of you feels this, but 50%, like really dead, like in the middle, another part of you feels the exact opposite. And so how do you deal with that, right? If you're tapping, and then you're saying, even though I have this blank, I deeply and completely accept myself, that's just kind of one side of something. But meanwhile, there's another part of you that feels the exact opposite, right? So you're having a conflict, you're having like a fight inside yourself, and you're going to be doing this the whole time, right? So that's not going to work for you, because it's going to shut your energy field down, okay? So briefly, I'm going to go over the tapping process so it just reminds you of it. Okay, when we bring up a thought, it's associated with a negative feeling or a negative experience. It creates a charge on that thought that creates blockages in the energy field that show up on the meridians. And we tap on certain acupuncture points to leading meridians, and we clear the block. And with that, the charge releases. And then we're able to see the situation or the person or ourselves from a wider perspective. So the basic formula of tapping is that we tap on the karate chop area. And this is the soft area right here. We can use either hand, and if you miss a point, it doesn't matter. You'll get it on the way back. And then what you do is you basically you're saying an affirmative sentence, right? And the reason why you're affirming is because when you say that last piece, which is going to be I deeply and completely accept myself, it's going to hit your heart, and your heart is going to open up. Your heart electromagnetically affects your energy field. Everything is energy fields within energy fields, okay? Everything is energy, period. Comes up looking it's physical, but it's actually fields within fields within fields, and science has confirmed that. So what we want to do then is have an open heart. So even if you're not able to even get close to that sentence, you can still do it. I did a video just on that piece alone, which is what do you do when you can't even say the words? Like there's no way you can even go to that, all right? So I would strongly suggest that you check that out because I think that's extremely important, and I see that a lot in working with my clients. So you have this this opening up of the heart center that affects electromagnetically your field, so that when you're doing the tapping and what you're saying is going to land. And what we're dealing with is incrementally clearing a charge. So basically, you can think of yourself as being at a certain level from 0 to 10 and check in and see where you are, and then do several rounds of tapping and then check in again and see where you are and then keep going. And of course, lovely to get to 0, right? Because I love 0. I actually never stop until there's 0 with my clients or my own work, okay? Because I don't think we have to. If there's anything that is stopping us from getting to 0, that's another piece that is floating over here right outside of our consciousness that's asking to be looked at. So if that should happen to you, then I suggest that you just center down and pay attention to the discomfort that is sitting there and see if there's something else that wants to be said about that inside you, something else that's calling you inside you to pay attention to, and then tap on that piece. Okay, so as far as the formula is concerned, the basic format is concerned, we start out with 3 of the same sentences to make it really simple. Even though I have this blank, I deeply and completely accept myself. That's the affirmative part, right? And we say that 3 times, and then we fill in the blank with what's bothering us. But at that point, right, it's a simple, singular thing. Even though I have this anger, even though I'm really angry about what she said to me, even though I feel really sad, even though I feel really scared. I did one on fear also around the Corona COVID situation that you can look at. Or, you know, whatever it is, it's singular, and then we call that the reminder phrase. Okay, so that's the reminder phrase. And what we're doing is we're going to be tapping on certain acupuncture points, and we're going to be focusing in on that reminder phrase. And that's basically something you stay attuned to. It keeps your frequency in that issue, because consciousness is working almost like a laser beam, right? And so it's keeping you attuned to that frequency. If you don't do the reminder phrase, your mind might wander, and then you're not going to get the work done, okay? So it's a way of keeping you from being distracted and keeping you attuned. Having said that, there's a very different way of working with somebody when they're when they're being emotionally flooded, or they're in a memory of trauma that's too much for them. Then we actually don't have them talk at all. I don't have them talk at all, right? Because all you have to do is have one thought, and your field is already filled with that frequency, and we're able to work with the person without speaking about it, without putting their face into it, and we work very, very gently, very, very subtly. Okay, so I just want you to know that's a completely different situation, but we've taken care of that possibility. All right, so up until now, it's been, singular things. So what I want to talk about now is actually when you have a conflict, right? So when you have a conflict, now you have two things going on. I do want, I don't want. I'm not sure, right? You're like torn inside yourself. You're basically torn. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to have an internal argument within ourselves. It's two parts. An internal argument within ourselves, okay? And so it's going to sound like this. Even though I have this blank, and you're filling that in, I also feel this, right? Okay? So an example of being torn. Even though I think that it would be really great to move upstate and be in wonderful pasture and grass and whatever, I'm just giving an example, right? I feel really torn because then I have to leave all my friends here, right? Or even though I think I should go to university, another part of me says I should just get a job, right? So you have these kinds of things. So what we're going to do is, even though I have this, I also have this, okay? And so let's do the university thing, okay? So even though I want to take classes and go to school and develop myself, I also know I'm going to lose income and maybe I should just get a job, okay? And so what we're going to do is we're going to tap on both of those. And of course, if you have other things going on, then you just use this as a format for you. Because I'm just teaching you a process. It really doesn't matter what I fill it in with. At this point, it doesn't matter. What matters is that you understand that you're working with parts. Okay? You're working with a conflict. And you have to acknowledge that conflict. If you don't acknowledge that conflict, you basically don't get much done, right? So what you want to do is, as you're acknowledging the conflict by tapping, then your field, which holds your information and the wisdom that you have inside you that you can't grasp because you're too flooded with all the possibilities and stories that you're telling yourself and the different thoughts about it and the confusion. Confusion is the worst, by the way, because it actually is it stuns you. When you're confused, when a child is confused, it literally stuns you, right? So if it stuns you, it stops you in your tracks, because it's almost like, I always say I actually feel deeply this way from all the work that I've done in my own spiritual experiences and awakenings and so on, and science that comes in to confirm it and so on, is that we are self-evolving, self-organizing computers. So it's like the computer is not able to function at that point. It just goes into this kind of thing. It can't go any farther, right? It's like one of those wind-up dolls that you put near a wall, and then it just goes it just doesn't go anywhere, right? Because the mind is trying to figure it out, but it can't. Okay, so confusion is worse. So what we want to do is we want to clear the charge of confusion. That's really what we want to do here. And the way we do that is acknowledging the conflict, okay? All right. So, and I'm going to invite you to put your own stuff in. So even though I think that I should go to university so I can take classes and become more professional at what I'm doing. But another part of me thinks that I really should just get a job and start making money. And I deeply and completely accept myself with this conflict. So we're not doing your typical thing of I deeply and completely accept myself. We want to address the conflict. Okay, so I'm working a little bit more nuanced with you. So even though I think I should go to university, Another part of me thinks I should just get a job. And I accept myself with this conflict. Even though part of me thinks I should just go to school and take classes. Another part of me thinks that's not a good idea. I should just get a job and make money. And I accept myself deeply and completely with this conflict. So now what we're going to do is we're going to start tapping on those points, right? So the top, reminder that the top is where we go with a little bit of a claw, okay? And then we're going to go to the brow point, and I use about 2 fingers for that, whatever feels comfortable for you. And then the side of the eye where the bone is, that is the orbit of the eye, and then under the eye where the cheek is. So just follow along with me and tap in those areas in case you want to get more comfortable. And then under the nose, and then under the mouth. And we tap about 5, 7, 9. It's not rigid, right? But we just want to make sure that we're at least tapping for the sentence, for as long as the sentence is. And then the collarbone area, where the collarbone, the first rib, and the collarbone and the breastplate meet. I usually use 4 fingers, but you can use 5, you can use a fist. And then underneath the arm, where you have possibly a bra, but maybe a seam, yeah? Okay, so that's what we're gonna do. So again, even though I think I should go to university, there's another part of me that thinks I should just get a job. And I deeply and completely accept myself with this conflict. Even though I think I should just go to university, there's another part of me that thinks I should just get a job. And I feel really split. And I accept myself with all of my feelings. Even though part of me thinks I should just go to school and take lots of classes. But another part of me thinks I should just be practical and just get a job and make money. I accept myself anyway. Okay? So now we're going to start doing the tapping, and this is the argument that you're going to be going through. I'm going to be a little nuanced with it. You can play with it. These are just examples. I think I should just go to school and take lots of classes. But I don't think that's a really good idea, actually, because I think I should just work and make money. But then again, it's important to go to school so that I can evolve professionally. But then again, if I do that, then there are years where I'm not earning. But I really want to go to class because I love learning. But then again, I have to take care of practical needs. I feel so torn. I feel so torn. I feel so torn. Part of me wants to go to university. And another part of me says, I should be practical. If I go to university, I won't be making money. But then again, I won't be developing if I'm just in some kind of job. I'm not feeling really good about just being in a job. I really think I should be studying more and learning more about my profession. But God knows how long that's going to take, and it could be years, and then I won't be bringing money in. And so what's that going to do for my life? It doesn't seem very practical. God, I don't know which way to turn. I feel so conflicted. It feels like there's a war inside me between these two parts, just tugging and tugging. But I really want to go to school. I don't know what to do. What if I'm in a job and I'm really miserable there, but I'm making money? What's more important to me? I wonder what's really important to me. I can imagine being in school and studying and the excitement of that and feeling it enrich my life. And then at the same time, if I don't have a lot of money coming in, but I do have a savings, I don't know, maybe I can pull in my belt a little bit. Maybe it's possible. I love to learn. I just want to go into something that really makes me feel passionate. Just making money is not going to do that for me. Just making money might feel very empty for me. This is a tough one to figure out. But the more I'm tapping, the more I feel like I really want to go to school. Money is definitely important, but I want to live a life that feels full. I don't want to just be working for the sake of working. I want to feel like I'm living a life with purpose. I love the idea of meeting other people, studying the same things and sharing ideas. I feel a little bit less conflicted now. I have a little bit more of a direction inside me. I'm glad that I'm seeing more clearly. It felt like a dead conflict inside me, completely split. But now I can feel that one part is louder than the other. So, I'm going to stop at that point, although normally I finish the round, but that's just a technicality. I wanted you to hear an evolution of what you might experience as you're tapping conflict, okay? So it was a hypothetical, not brilliant, but definitely something that people go through, right? Especially when they're younger and they have to make a decision as to whether to go out into the job market and just start working because they have rent and, stuff like that, whatever they need to deal with, or keep going in their schooling. So it definitely is a real thing. But the most important thing is that whatever is your conflict is your conflict. Whatever it is, and it needs to be validated. It needs to be acknowledged. It needs to be, oh my God, you're so blurry. There you are. I'm sorry, but I just can't tap with my glasses on and show you that at the same time. So it needs to be acknowledged. And so when you're tapping, you're aware of the conflict, right? And as the tapping goes on, what will typically happen is that one starts swerving in one direction, because your deeper feelings, your deeper core beliefs, your deeper values about what you're conflicted about starts showing you where you really want to go. And that's the whole goal of this, okay? So I just made it very short for you to give you an idea on how to have an argument inside yourself while you're tapping. And the reason why we're tapping is clearing charge. We have a lot of static when we bring up a thought about anything. We bring up zillions of stories attached to that thought. Oh my God, this, oh my God, that, because you have like 60,000 plus thoughts a day. Only 5% of them are conscious and everything else is subconscious. And 80 to 90% of the subconscious, unconscious thought, especially in our society, is negative. I can't, I won't, it won't happen, it's not for me, I'm not worthy, da 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 da. That goes on all the time, right? So when you bring up a thought about something, there's a whole bunch of stories that come with it from the unconscious mind that you don't even realize. And in a nano moment, you've already turned yourself off to something or pushed yourself into something that you really didn't want to do or whatever. So the important thing is that as we're clearing the static, it's like, what? You're trying to hear yourself and you can't, right? So you're clearing the static so that you can get more in touch with what it is that you're really feeling. And as you get more in touch with what you're really feeling, one side is going to start having more weight than the other. And then you can continue. It's not working with it 50-50 split conflict. You can continue still as parts. Even though I feel this, I also feel this, right? Even though I feel this, I also feel this. Even though I feel this, part of me still feels this, right? Even though most of me feels this, a little bit of me feels that, and you just start topping, constantly focusing in and holding it in sentences that speak your truth at that very moment, wherever you are, right? So if 70% of me feels this and 30% of me feels that, then I know a lot of me feels this and a small part of me feels that, right? But when you're saying part of me feels this and part of me feels that, you already know the percentage of split inside you, so you don't have to say 70-30. This is just really teaching you how to think about it, right? But when you focus in, you already know this part of me feels this and part of me feels that, right? And then you just keep working with it, right? If other things come up, like, oh my God, how am I going to pay the rent, right? Then you're like, even though, oh my God, how am I going to pay the rent? I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though, oh my God, how am I going to pay the rent? I accept myself with all of my feelings. Even though, oh my God, how am I going to pay the rent? I accept myself just the way I am. You flip over to the thing that's asking you to pay attention to it, right? How am I going to pay the rent? How am I going to pay the rent? How am I going to pay the rent? Rounds and rounds and rounds. And then see where that takes you, right? So this is just a little bit of a lesson on working with conflict. And there's other parts work that I will share with you at another time. I hope that this is helpful. If it's helpful, please share. And I'm finally learning how to say everything I'm supposed to say, which is hit the subscribe button. And I don't have any fancy thing on there to show you and no special letters, just a tremendous amount of love, seeing you for the light that you are. You are magnificent. You are capable of everything that you believe that you can. And even beyond that, you are capable of things that you haven't even imagined yet. And I want to help you in any way I can. So if you have any questions, you want to write down comments, you want to, hit me on Facebook and iMessage me. You can also call me at the office at 973-259-1988. And I'm happy to share anything with you that will help. Okay? So have a wonderful day, and I will see you soon. Bye.